American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Pervis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by my co-host Q Floyd.
What's going on? What's going on? We back.
Yep, it's good to be back again. The AFF podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Seriously, American Football in Finland is currently available on 25 different platforms. Wherever you listen, be sure to rate us. Anything less than 5 stars will tell us that you are a hater. So this is season 5 of AFF, and we really appreciate the support everyone has given us so far. We've getting a lot of online interaction, and we're going to try to keep this ship going. So before we even get into the show, man, Q, how was your weekend?
Weekend was great. Worked out a little bit. I even watched some old bowl games, some old highlights of myself. So it was a good, it was a good weekend, man. It was all football and sun. So can't complain.
Yeah, I think my weekend was decent. Went to Helsinki for the first time in almost a year because of coronavirus and lack of a reason to go to Helsinki. So got a little bit taste of the big city life out there. Did a little bit of shopping. Yeah, perfect shops too, guys. I shop. So it's been a pretty chill weekend, but we're definitely excited. Uh, just one note to anybody who's listening, the Maple League doesn't start for another 2 weeks, but this weekend, actually, the youth leagues have started playing. The U13 teams had games on Sunday of this weekend. So just, big ups to any kid out here in Finland playing American football. One day you might be on this show when we're talking about you in the Maple League. So it's good to see you guys out there and back into football. Football has officially started in Finland. That's what's happening. It is back.
Yep.
It's not just Maple League. Football has started. So before we do anything else, man, let's get into the show. All right, so 2020 season, we're getting ready for it, and we've been talking about these different teams, what they're going to bring to the table. We've been interviewing players. Today, we're going to do 2 teams. We're going to do both the Helsinki Wolverines and the Seinäjoki Crocodiles. Now, before we even get into it, let's do Helsinki Wolverines first, as they were the third place team last year, or I guess just playoff third place, but they finished third place in the season. So talking about the Helsinki Wolverines, brand new team, lots of changeover player-wise, but a lot of familiar faces on that team. So let's talk about what we think their chances are for competing and maybe even winning the Maple Bowl in 2020. Let's talk about some of the biggest changes for them going into this 2020 season. Q, what is something you think is a big change for them?
The big change that I noticed off the rip was Coach Mike Mattingly. His ability and his skill set is perfect for this organization. It's perfect for these players. He doesn't have a lot of I would say American imports. Mm-hmm. So I think it's easier sometimes for coaches to be able to coach and relay what they want done without the I know what I'm doing kind of persona that comes along with having American imports. And the players that he has national team players from their respectable countries. So in a way, that's kind of what you want. You don't have the egos. And I think with him being there and him knowing Finnish football as well now, I think the biggest change for the Wolverines will be just finding their chemistry and him knowing how to relay that to the players. And I mean, they changed the quarterback, they changed receivers, they kept some receivers, they got some players on defense. But I think overall, just the head coach himself was the biggest change because he's going to bring about that young, hungry, motivated, confident demeanor that you want your team to have. And I think that'll be good for them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even going to say a different change. I think having Coach Mattingly is the biggest change for this team. And just to kind of piggyback off what you were saying earlier, having all this high caliber European players playing for a structured coach. We talked about a lot of last year with the Wolverines. The biggest issue they had as a team was so many different personalities and not being able to get them to jail as well as even control how they work together. It wasn't really possible with the personnel they had. Coach Madley brings that consistency that they need to be good. And I think that's something that we're going to see. We're going to see how he impacts that team, and it's probably going to prove that they can either be a good team or a great team, depending on how well he gets them to buy in on his philosophy and everything he wants to do with that team. Next up, we have an interview with Helsinki Wolverines head coach Michael Mattingly. So let's get into that right now. We're here with Helsinki Wolverines head coach Michael Mattingly. Coach Mattingly, welcome to the AFF podcast once again.
Thank you, as always. Glad to be here. Much love from you guys. Love the support with the work you do. So I'm glad to be on the show.
Always good to have you on, man. We get straight into the interview. Q, what you got for him?
All right, Coach. My question to you is, from what I've seen over the last year or so, you can pretty much work with anything. And by that, I mean any type of imports, any type of players, and have some success. This year, you have a lot, I would say a high caliber of imports coming onto your team right now. So what kind of things will you be driving into these guys to make sure they have success this season?
We just got to – I think the Wolverines have been a quality organization for a while, but I just think we need a little more a little more structure and intensity and more like focus come practice and kind of remove that hobby label. I know it's not a professional league. It's all semi-pro. But if we can just drive that into the guys' heads that, hey, we need to take this thing seriously. And like you said, we got a good group of guys coming in, a lot of, domestic talent here as well, a lot of good quality Finnish players that, we can get the job done and, keep the Maple Bowl in Helsinki, but just have it be dressed in blue and gold, hopefully, instead of, red and white. So that's our objective this year. So
what is it about this Wolverines team and roster that you think is going to make you guys a contender this year instead of another, well together put team that ultimately can't knock off the champions? What is it that makes you guys different this year?
That kind of separates us.
Yeah.
I would say we don't have the biggest coaching staff, but the coaches we do have are very dedicated and smart to the game. And with addition of Jan on defense and him kind of running stuff in the background, I mean, he's been a big part of getting some new Finnish guys in. There's you'll see a new type of Wolverines defense out there this year. It might not be, the type of guys you expect, but just our scheme is a little different. And then obviously our receiving core, we believe, is the best in the league. And whoever plays in Europe in any country, we think our 4, 5, 6 guys are better than any team in any league that's playing in Europe this year. It's not a question to us. I mean, we think it's going to be too hard to stop us on offense. And with the scheme we have rolling on defense, Jan's doing a good job putting stuff in. I think that we'll be pretty solid on both sides of the ball, but on our receiving core, I think will really, really separate us this year from the rest of the pack. It will be difficult to really, hone in on one guy with Sagne now here and Mickey Che. We have 2 or 3 really good Finnish wide receivers as well that are here. So it's going to be a pretty exciting season for us as well.
All right, that makes sense. Q, you got another question for him before we let him get out of here?
Yeah, just one last question. This is more off of on the coaching side. How do you feel about the coaching culture when it comes to Europe? As far as a lot of these teams, they want to win, they want to become champions, but they don't like to commit to having a coach for more years. How do you feel about that? I mean, obviously you're okay with moving around from
Yeah.
team to team, but would you like to be in one place for multiple years?
Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, I was with the Crocodiles for the last 2 years. You know, things just didn't work out for year 3. So, you know, I had to, you know, take myself elsewhere. And now I'm here in Helsinki. Me and Jan, we have already discussed, you know, potentially at least 2021 next year. And, you know, so if things go well and as things progress throughout the season, I don't see any reason why. You know, hopefully we do well and the team will want me back. But it's difficult, I think, for some American coaches to truly settle down in one place with, you know, the money and if they have families and children and everything else. I'm a little luckier since I'm younger. I have the ability to, and single, I have the ability to kind of, you know, bounce around. But I'm kind of getting to that point where I would like to kind of settle down in one area. And as of now, Helsinki's, you know, treated me well. Everything's going right as of now. So if things progress, it's already been in conversations possibly in 2021. So hopefully, you know, I'll be a Wolverine next year and see what the future continues to, you know, take me down. So we'll figure it out from there.
All right. Coach Mattingly, we appreciate you coming on the podcast again. We look forward to seeing you and the Wolverines compete for the Maple League title this year. Good luck to you, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
luck,
Much
Coach.
appreciated. Thank you.
All right, that was our interview with Helsinki Wolverines head coach Michael Mattingly. Next, let's talk about the keys to success for the Helsinki Wolverines. What is something you think that they can do to be successful in this season, Q?
The Wolverines, in my opinion, to be successful, have to score and finish drives. They have to get momentum early. I think the caliber of players that they have on their team and their offense, definitely their offense right now, they definitely have the ability to do that. If they can score 20 to 30 points early in the first half, the Wolverines will obviously put themselves in a place where they can be a contender. No turnovers, you know, just unfinished drives. Like, I'm not saying you have to score on every drive, but with the players that they have on that roster on offense, they should be able to score at will against certain teams. They should at least be able to put up 21 points to 28 points in the first half. I have that confidence in them because I've seen majority of those players play, and I know what they're capable of. So in order for them to have a chance, they just have to have that type of offense. And Coach Mattingly is very, very versed on a passing offense, as well as using his running back in the passing game, getting the ball to all receivers, knowing how to point out the best matchups. And as long as the Wolverines can find those matchups where they feel like they can win on offense, they'll definitely have a chance.
I agree. They definitely have to finish drives and take care of that. For me, I think for them to be successful, we've got to ask what the success is. I'm going to tell you for my definition, for the Wolverines to be successful, they need to be in the Maple Bowl. I do not care if they can put up 85 points a game and then they can't beat the Steelers or the Roosters. I think for them to be successful this season, they need to win the big game. During the season, they need to knock off one of the number 2 contenders. They need to beat one of those teams. I'm not saying you got to beat them both. I'm not saying you have to go undefeated or anything like that. But I need to see you beat a team that I already expect to, you know, be in contention for the championship. I don't need to see you beat teams who we don't know if they were going to be that good in the first place. We don't need you to win the games that we expect you to win. I need you to win a game I don't expect you to win. And that's going to make you successful because that's going to separate this team from the pack. And that's what anybody in this league is really needing to do right now to be successful is you need to win that big game. But for the Wolverines, I think it's one of their major keys to success because this is a team that's full of, I want to say, different pieces than normal, but they've all had success separately. So for them to be successful together, they've got to win that big game. We know that they're going to be able to put up points. We know they're going to be able to score, but are they going to be able to score when the game is on the line? are they going to be able to stop a team like the Steelers or the Roosters when there's only 2 minutes left in the game and they're only up by 2 and that other team is in their red zone? Are they going to be able to buckle down and make that play, make a key turnover, make a touchdown when you don't expect them to on 3rd and 4th and long, something like that, and change the narrative and take the momentum away from another team? Like we said before, it's a short season. So you win that one big game, and not to say it crudely, but you're holding their manhood until the playoffs. Like, that's it. They can't say anything to you until the playoffs. So you win that game, and you have that advantage, even going into the playoffs, of, hey, we already beat you, and they need that to be successful in this season.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think just to kind of piggyback real quick on what you're saying, you're right. Like, the scoring the points and putting up these crazy numbers is okay. We've seen it before, but you actually have to be able, like you say, beat one of these top 2 teams. And right now, that's the Roosters and Scorpio, the only 2 teams that we know for sure. At the end of the year, they're probably going to be themselves. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're probably going to be in the mix. So if you can't be able to contend and play with a team like that, then everything else you do during the season really won't matter. So, like you said, they have to be that type of team. I do think they're going to be capable of it. We do have to see what their line looks like. I mean, that's going to play a major part in it, and the quarterback play obviously will play a major part in it, and depth. But right now, just going off of the roster and the players that they have, they have a shot at being a contender. It's just if they all put it together.
So next up, we're going to do a quick interview with Helsinki Wolverines defensive back Sebastian Gauthier. So let's get into that. All right, we're here with Sebastian Gauthier from the Helsinki Wolverines, defensive back, Swedish defensive back, coming to the league this year. Excited to have you on, man. Just before I even let you even talk, this guy, I've been watching him for the last few years in Europe. He is one of the best defensive backs in Europe, arguably out of him and his partner in crime this year, William James, who's the best Swedish defensive back. I don't know. I'm not going to say it. But it could be either one of them. But he's up there. Welcome to the AFF podcast, man. It's your first time. How you doing today, Sebastian?
I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm super excited to be in Finland and, play alongside, as you mentioned, with William James. I mean, it's going to be fun to get to know him. I mean, we played together a little bit in the national team. He's a great guy, great athlete. I mean, obviously he got to the draft in the CFL and everything. So I'm super excited to play alongside with him in Finland for sure.
We'll get into the interview questions. Q has a question for you first. Q, hit him with your question.
All right. So obviously, I keep saying that, but I've seen you play just as well as Pervis seen you play in the last few years. And my question to you is, what do you think is the biggest challenge right now that you guys will have on defense to have success in a pass-happy kind of league?
Coming from, I think that the GFL is a pass-happy type of league, so I think that I'm pretty comfortable playing teams that love to, go 5 wide or even 4 wide. So I'm really comfortable with that. I play DB because I want to play the pass. I love playing the run as well. Often I think that's one of my strengths as a DB, but playing the pass is always fun. And seeing some of the guys I played with before, like Tim Thomas over in Seinäjoki and Roby from Treviso over there, it's gonna be a fun time this season in Finland for sure. I play this game for the passing. I mean, that's the most fun. I mean, Skelly is the most fun in practice, 7-on-7. I mean, flag football. I mean, I love that stuff. So I'm super excited about that. For me, that's it's almost, I would say it's more than half of football is the passing game, especially in the GFL at least. So yeah, I'm super excited about that.
My question for you, Sebastian, is why did you decide to come to the Finnish Football League instead of the Super Series in Sweden, man? I mean, they got a league going around the same time. What was the factors in your decision to come to Finland, maybe instead of playing somewhere in Sweden, your home country?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, I love Sweden, and I would love to play here, but just because the Swedish season is so late into the year, for me personally, with my job that I have back in Frankfurt, and just fits better in my schedule to play this season, this August into mid-September, fits better with my own schedule than it would be playing and starting the season in September, going to November, I think. And also the fact that they only have 4 teams in the league this year, and they're playing them 3 times. I mean, for me, that's, I mean, no offense to the Swedish league. I mean, I'd rather play more teams and you know, compete against other players than to play the same guys over and over. You know what I mean? So Finland was more appealing to me for my personal schedule, and also football-wise. In my opinion, I feel like the Finnish league is more competitive than the Swedish league this season, at least. I don't know. I haven't followed the Swedish league that much lately because my brother doesn't play there anymore. So, so yeah. So in my opinion, the Finnish league is more competitive. I mean, obviously the best Swedish guys go and play in Finland all the time. So I mean, it was just natural for me to choose the league that was more competitive.
Next question I have for you is, I know with you and William James coming over to the Wolverines, you guys are going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Do you think that having both of you is going to be something that can kind of help the issues that they've had in the past of having consistency on their defense? The Wolverines have been able to get good talent, but they've been very inconsistent in their defensive, like, I guess, how their defense plays throughout the season has been very inconsistent over the years because of the talent. Do you think you two guys bring some type of reliability to that defense?
I mean, in my opinion, I think that a great defense is dependent on the team atmosphere, or like the defense atmosphere. Like, you got to trust the guy that's next to you, right? So I think that Coach Jan Virko has made a good job of putting together some guys that has played together before, who knows each other and somehow trust each other. So I think that was a great signing to take both of us, you know, to get that. You know, we have that Swedish contact. You know, we can communicate in Swedish. You know, we play kind of in the same systems, and with the national team, it's pretty similar to what we're going to play in with the Wolverines. So I think how he puts together the defense this year. I don't know how it was last year. I haven't followed them that much, but I think that he's done a good job putting together a good defense. I mean, bringing back Benji also. Shout out to Benji. You know, so and then Ville also, that was supposed to play with Frankfurt this year. So I think that we have good guys on every level, and then having me also being able to be flexible and play Sam linebacker. If we had a season this year in Frankfurt, I would have played Sam linebacker. So I've been training for both Sam and also safety now. So if Jan needs me at linebacker, you know, I'm down in the box. So yeah.
In the past, you've been able to, you know, get on that other side of the ball. If I'm not mistaken, that's where you started, right? Is that receiver?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just true, making sure. We got a little history here. So so that's what we want to know. Like, is there a chance? Could we see Sebastian Gauthier playing on the offensive side for the Wolverines this year? I mean, is it in the works?
Hey, I mean, I'm open-minded. I'm here to play, and the coach needs me to play on the offense. Hey, I'm down, man. I mean, in the previous years with Frankfurt, they've used me as more like an H-back, or you know, used me in the slot for some screens and stuff like this, and you know, on the return game and stuff like that. So when I have this rock in my hand, bro, these teams better watch out. So I'm going to be on both sides.
All right.
They better game plan for me being on both sides.
That's what's up. Right, Sebastian. Sebastian, we appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. And before we even move on to the next segment, I want you to hold on because we got a special guest to come on with you.
Hey, Q over here too.
Oh man, bro, we doing big things out here. We got 2 Sebastians from the Wolverines. But Sebastian, you and Gauthier, y'all both have history playing with each other. You both you guys were in Frankfurt last year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Just before we even get an interview, how does it feel to, you know, reunite and feel so good in Finland with the Wolverines? You guys excited about that?
I mean, yeah, like we got real good friends during our time in Frankfurt. Our 2 years in Frankfurt, as a matter of fact. So I'm happy to get him over here. He's my good friend, so that's how I see it. I'm just happy to play with him again.
And Gauthier, how do you feel about playing with the other Sebastian?
Nah, I mean, I missed him. I mean, he was supposed to be out here for the 2020 season, and I didn't get to, compete with him on the field and hang out with him off the field. So I'm so happy that I can go to Finland for 2 months and, hang out with my boy and also play and try to get that championship.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. All right, Sebastian Gauthier, we appreciate you being on the show, but you got to go now because I can't have both of y'all doing this interview. Take it easy, man. Good luck this season.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, guys. All right, guys. I'll talk to you.
Brother.
All right, that was our interview with Helsinki Wolverines defensive back Sebastian Gauthier. Let's get into some of the obstacles for the Wolverines going into this season. What is something you think is going to limit them or keep them from being able to get into that Maple Bowl championship game?
The experience and the experience some of the players have playing with each other. With it being a shortened season, you don't get a lot of time to learn your teammates. A lot of these guys are just coming in to the team or will be coming into the team with a few weeks, ahead of the first game. And it's possible to get some chemistry out of that. But a lot of these other teams like Scorpio, the Roosters, these guys have been practicing together way before now. They know it. They know exactly what each other is going to do in certain situations. And when you can play defense or you can play offense that way, it gives you a better chance to win. So just the fact of them not being together that long is a chemistry, obstacle. Other than that, obviously you got two contenders, Scorpio and the Roosters. That'll be the major obstacles, is being able to adjust to a team like that, being able to play consistently 4 quarters with a team like that. So right now, those two things stand out to me. It's just they need to be able to play together and learn each other real fast so they can have a chance.
Yeah, that makes sense. A new team is always going to be difficult to play good together with new players. I'm going to talk about that a little bit from a different angle. I think that the Finnish players is going to be an obstacle for this team. I think the Finnish culture to American football is going to be an obstacle to this team. The fact that it's a hobby sport here, and you have all these guys who this is kind of their livelihood for the next 2 months, trying to gel with guys who this is their hobby for the next 2 months. That's what we actually saw last year with the Wolverines, was that you had all this talent, and that talent didn't mesh with the domestic talent that you had, and you weren't able to get things done. And with this new batch of players, I think that you have a better group coming together, but ultimately they're not the Finnish group. And that Finnish group, and we've said this time and time again, that Finnish group is what's going to make the difference. Even if this team was to somehow, let's just go hypothetical, say they were to go undefeated throughout the season and get to the playoffs, when they played in those playoff games, it's all about matchup and finding weaknesses, and that's when teams would be able to find them because you have 5 games of film. And so every Finnish guy that just didn't adapt exactly like everybody else, or every Finnish player who didn't take it as seriously, maybe he didn't watch film on the opponents coming up, but it didn't matter because they made all these great plays with the imports in the championship or in the playoffs, that's going to come back to bite him on the ass. Because that one weak link is all it's going to take to be a difference. And I think for this team, that's something they have to be careful of, is that as much talent and as good as these players are, they have to get these Finnish players to buy in, to support them and even help them at certain times in these games. If they can't get the Helsinki Wolverines players, excluding all the new players, if they can't get those players to buy in and play at a higher level than normal, they really don't have a chance. That's the biggest obstacle, is to get the culture of that team to match the intensity level of the coach and the imports and the new players that he's brought in. Next up, we're going to have an interview with Helsinki Wolverines wide receiver Sebastien Sagne. Let's get into that. Yeah, Sebastian, it's good to have you back in Finland. Are you excited to get kind of back with the Wolverines? I know that's where you kind of played your junior ball before you got, all international on us. But are you excited to be back in Helsinki with the Wolverines this year?
It's definitely fun to play in Finland again. I miss the Finnish summer, if you can miss it. But I've just missed being here during the summertime. Whenever I'm here in Finland, it's during the winter, so it's miserable, as you guys know. So I'm happy to just play here, be around my buddies, see my family, and that sort of stuff. But I'm still holding on to the CFL, trying to go over there. So.
Oh, that's great, man. We're hopping to this interview, trying to make it as quick as possible. Q, what kind of question did you have for him first?
Well, my first question was were you excited to be back? Were you excited to be back in the Maple League? But you already answered that. So my next part of that question is, I'm gonna get right to it. If you had to give a warning out to all the DBs in the league right now, what would you tell them?
Bro, they already know.
Need for speed. For speed.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say nothing too stupid, man. You already know.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just leave it like that. But I know what that means. And the real ones, if they know, they know. If you don't know, you'll find out the hard way. So I got you.
That is.
We all kind of know, and it hasn't really been officially said, but the GFL season, it might not happen. Kind of with the absence of the GFL season, do you expect the level of the Maple League to kind of be a little higher this year with what we've seen is a lot of GFL level players coming over?
I'm not even that sure that'll be the case because they'll still would have been imports here, so the level would not been that much of a difference. It's still the same Finnish players, it's the same basic core players. So I don't think because there's going to be less Americans in the league for sure. So that's when the European imports come into play. So I don't think it'll be nothing crazier.
What about you personally? What kind of goals do you have for this season playing with the Wolverines? Is there anything that you specifically want to get accomplished on the football field?
Man, I'm just trying to help the team win. That's it, and just getting football shape for myself and work on my craft, work on some stuff, and just trying to get better. That's the main goal for me. Just try to get better.
Yeah, it was you and Mickey about to play together again. Also, you guys have some pretty good chemistry. Yeah. Are you excited? Are you excited for that? I mean, I know a lot of times imports don't get to choose who they get to play with, but you get to play with your friend. I know it brings some type of more motivation, more competition. So how do you feel about that? Just getting to play with your friends again.
Man, I love it. I'm great boys with Mickey. That's my brother, man. Like you said, we played in Dresden together. Like that's where we became more tight as brothers, and it's always fun around Mickey. He's a funny guy, man. I mean, it's just I love to. He brings this different kind of energy also, so it's fun in practice. It's he helps me get better. I help him, so we kind of iron sharpens iron.
Gotcha.
That's what's up, man. All right, that's all we have for you, Sebastian. We didn't want to take a lot of your time. We wish you and the Helsinki Wolverines best of luck this season, man. And we look forward to seeing you do your thing out there.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good luck,
for having me on.
All right, take it easy.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, that was our interview with Helsinki Wolverines wide receiver Sebastien Sagne. For the Wolverines, with so many new players and so many good players on this team, who are some of the guys you think are going to be worthy of being MVP candidates this season?
This is a good one right here. They have so many players. My first choice MVP, I'm going to go with Mickey. I'm going to go with Mickey.
Mickey J.
I think I'm going to go with Mickey. I know this might be surprising to some people, but the reason why I'm going with Mickey is because I think he has the the matchup there is going to be hard for most teams to be able to deal with. And if you've ever seen any highlights from him, he kills people in the slot. It's the hardest place for any safety linebacker to match up. I mean, and he can literally, in 5 games, he can literally have 15 to 20 touchdowns just off of the matchups. So I'm gonna go with Mickey, man. I might be going out on a limb, but I'm gonna go with Mickey.
I think that's a good choice. I think on this team, and I'm just gonna build up the tension to my choice, is that you have we had an interview with the head coach, and he said it, and it's something that's crazy, is they have probably the best receiving core. I mean, Roosters, we can argue about it later, that's fine. But let's just be honest, like on paper, this receiving core is ridiculously good. Now, with me, got to use my logic. If they got so many good receivers, I mean, everybody's going to eat, which means if everybody's eating, the wealth is going to be spread around. It's going to be hard to say, well, he's the most valuable. And then you're going to look at the quarterback, and depending on what he does with how they all get their touches, was he the most valuable? And I think that with this team, the quarterback's value is going to go down because everybody's going to say, with those receivers, all you got to do is give him the ball. So he's going to be out. I think I'm going to go opposite way. I'm going to go to a defensive player. And I'm going to go with 2 defensive players because I kind of have to do them both at the same time. I'm going to say one of the new Swedish players is going to give us a run for our money at MVP because they both have the ability to be game changers on defense and offense. And that's what really sets players apart in this league, is being able to do more than what is needed from you. And Sebastian Gauthier, he's originally a receiver. Like, he learned how to play receiver in Sweden and then converted to defensive back. So he's going to be a defensive back on this team. And he even said in his interview he might end up playing linebacker at times. So that means he might be a linebacker, and then he also can return. I don't know if he'll be a returner for them. They have so many options. But he can also be a guy that if there's injuries or something happens and they need to put in someone at the receiver position, inside or outside, he can come in and make a play here and there, and there'd be something the teams have to worry about. I'm not sure how deep into the game plan they can go with that, but he has that potential, which makes him an MVP candidate for me. And with William James, same thing, except you got to look at this guy. William James is built. He looks like a running back the way he's built, and he can play running back. So there's a guy he might be playing safety or linebacker on the defense. They have a very unique defense, so you can give him either position you want to, but he's going to be playing some type of hybrid situation from safety and linebacker. And then he's a guy who I'm 100% sure he's going to end up running the ball at some time in the season for them on offense, especially with them not being able to have Will Young come over. They're going to need someone to take up that void outside of the domestic talent. And so I guess what I'm saying, both of them, because I feel like both of them have the potential. I'm just not sure which one of them would do more on offense at this point because the season hasn't started. But I'm pretty sure in the first week we're going to find out which one of them is going to be utilized as more than just a defensive player. And it's going to carry weight on this team. Like we said before, their domestic players have to step up, but before any of them step up, their foreign players are going to have to show what they're worth. And I think these 2 guys are in a position to show more than their position. They're the only guys I think that can play outside of their position, aside from Mickey J, like you said earlier. So I'm looking for jack of all trades for MVP on this team because you have to. There's so much talent. You have to do something to stand apart. All right, man. Let's get into the Seinäjoki Crocodiles and talk about this team. A lot of changes for them as well. New coaches, new players, bringing back players who've played there before. They have a lot of Finnish talent. We've always known this team to be a playoff contender. I think they had one season in the last 7 or 8 years where they didn't make playoffs. That was just a rebuild. But this season, they've got a lot of firepower. So let's get into this team. First thing we'll talk about this team, Q, what are some of the biggest changes you think is going on with the Seinäjoki Crocodiles?
Biggest changes right now with Seinäjoki Crocodiles, obviously a new coach. Secondly, Spencer Cutlan at quarterback. With the additions with one of Germany's best receivers, Robitelli. Did I say his name right?
It's Robitaille. That's what I've been told.
Robitaille.
Nathaniel Robitaille.
Yeah, Nathaniel Robitaille is explosive. One of the most explosive receivers in Europe. And when a guy like that on the field, it's anything is possible. But to go back to the actual changes, Spencer at quarterback. They're actually going with this. At first, when I first heard it, I couldn't believe it. But after him, basically confirming it, that's a major change for a receiver to go and be the starting quarterback for a team like this and actually be a real deal. So he's surrounded by weapons. So it takes a lot of pressure off of him. But having a new head coach and see how that gels is another change. So we'll see what comes about it. But those are the major two changes that I see.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to add on to that. Like that's it. Those are the two changes: a new head coach and non-QB getting his first start at QB. So that's super interesting, and that's the biggest changes they're gonna have going to the season. Let's talk about what the Crocodiles need to do to be successful. What are some of the keys to success for them coming into this season?
The key to success is try to get the ball to Christian Powell on offense as much as possible. Establish a run game. I think they need to definitely establish a run game to open up other avenues for them to score the points, on the receiver side, to be consistent, to not just be out there looking like you drawing up plays, to have a scheme. A strategy to come into these games and actually have a chance to win. If the Crocs can do that, if they can actually have a put together offense and a strategy and a game plan, I think they can have some success with the players that they do have on their roster. If their line is playing good, if their D line is playing good, they have Alex Germany, one of the most explosive DBs, receivers, returners. I don't know what you want to call him, but
I think he also played running back a little bit.
Yeah, he does it all. I mean, with him being on everywhere, this team can make some stuff happen. I mean, when you think about it, they have nothing. I won't say they have nothing to lose, but they can do whatever they want to try to win this game. And I think that's just what they have to do. They have to actually bring out everything possible, get the ball in all their playmakers' hands. To have a shot. So
I definitely agree with you about that part of it. I think for me, when I'm looking at this team and I'm like, okay, they can be successful. I think everybody can see on the offensive side they have the firepower, and we even saw last year a different roster set, but a similar build to the team. As long as you have Christian Powell, you probably can win. Like that's just it is what it is. You have a chance to win. So having dynamic receivers around him, as they had last year, they had a very decent receiving core. This year is probably better. So you have a similar build on offense. Where I see them to make the true success for this season, and when I say success, I mean get to the Maple Bowl. I do not care about winning regular season games in a 5-game season. Like I don't care. Getting to the Maple Bowl is only real measure of success for these teams, especially teams that made the playoffs last year, like the Crocodiles. For them to get to the Maple Bowl, they've got to create a defensive identity. That's something that we've seen on this team. Even with imports, you have to be able to come together as a defensive unit. If you look at almost every team in the Maple League this season, their offense is stacked. Everybody plans to score. It's the Big 12 out here. Teams are going to give up 28, 35 points a game and still win. They need to figure out a way to be a team that gives up, 22, 23 points and still win. and not rely heavily on just scoring points, because they have the tools. With Christian Powell, you have the option of controlling the tempo of the game. You can make teams play at your level or at your speed even. You can slow games down and put the other offense on the sideline. But if your defense get out there and get ran through all the time, it really don't matter, because you're going to be in a track meet every week. And for this team, they don't want that. They don't have the depth. We all know what Seinäjoki's situation is. They have to have imports. They don't have enough domestic players to field a Finnish team. So for them, they don't want to get in these track meets with these other teams. They want to establish themselves defensively and then let it loose on offense because they can, not because they have to. So for them to be successful, they need to come with a consistent defensive identity this season, starting from week 1. Next up, we have an interview with Seinäjoki Crocodiles' new quarterback, Spencer Cutlan. Let's get into that one. We're here with Seinäjoki Crocodiles quarterback, formerly receiver, but now quarterback, Spencer Cutlan. Spencer, welcome to the AFF podcast, man.
Always a pleasure to be here. Can't wait to get into it and have some fun.
All right. Sure, let's get right into it. Q, ask him a question, man.
So Spence, I think a lot of people are excited to see you and Tim playing together again. Why do you think you two have so much success in the Maple League?
Energy. I'll put that down to the main thing. We keep the energy high, and we've got this sort of just go out there and have fun attitude. I mean, we take it seriously, of course. We know what we're doing. We're well repped. But then we just have this energy from being friends, like real close friends. And we love the game, man. And what better situation is it if you're playing a game you love with, your best friends? So it's the energy that we have, and we just keep going. And like, Tim's more competitive than me, I'll say that. But he wants to win so bad. I want to win. So it's the combination of those things.
Gotcha.
I'm excited. I'm super excited because you're playing quarterback this season, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So how comfortable are you at the quarterback position? Like, how comfortable are you at playing quarterback for this entire season if you have to?
First, I've got to shout out Miro Hadmari for giving me the motivation to do this. He's my go-to guy for the man I look up to right now. He was able to put out amazing things as a Finnish quarterback, and I respect that. So he's opened the door to non-American quarterbacks. So, but I think one thing that's in my favor right now is that I don't have the sort of experience. I've got football experience, but I don't have the experience of being a QB. So, like, I don't know what the limitations are. I don't know what the sort of expectations of having people in my face or stuff like that. So I'm kind of oblivious to the game from that position. I mean, that sounds bad on the front of it, but it's also good. Like, people are asking me, "Oh, do you worry about the snap?" And I'm like, I don't. I just catch the ball. Like, it's like I'm oblivious. It's like when you get, my experience is when you get a brand new receiver, he knows a bit about the game, but he doesn't know about defenses. He doesn't know about, the possibility of someone coming to smack him from behind or the safety coming over, whatever. He just goes out and plays. It's like raw reaction, as opposed to, knowing what's going on and being aware, like, oh, there's a safety over there. You're oblivious to it, which for me is what elite people can do. They're oblivious to, or they can switch off those inputs that allow them to be a raw talent, and be able to not be scared of, footsteps, or not be scared of other things. So I think that's going to help me, that I don't have experience of those things. So I'll just go out there and do what I've learned to do, which is take my drop and deliver the ball, or give it off to arguably one of the best running backs in Europe. So, I mean, I'm not in the worst situation there is.
What else did you have for him, Q?
No, I was just about to say something about that, this roster that you have, and you saying, like, you don't know what to expect pretty much when it comes to being a quarterback and sitting in the pocket. I was just about to say, like, you have the type of players around you that's going to make it a lot more comfortable for you.
Indeed.
But I guess my question will be away from football now. I know you can play football. My question away from it, and I'm gonna go back to your best friend. Between you and Tim, who's the better dancer?
Better dancer. I have to give it to Tim. I mean, there's been some times where we've been on the same level. You know, I'm slightly older, so maybe my choice of music might be a little different, but we're kind of similar. But yeah, I've definitely got to give the swag to Tim. I'll give it to him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got when he's influenced by the alcohol, he can get quite rhythmic. I'll say that.
I want to know, how much time and effort do you plan to put towards your celebrations this year? Because you guys did a hell of a job last season, and we expect to see more of that.
See, the best thing about this is, like, normally I don't celebrate first downs, but now if I do get a first down, especially if I throw it, it's a big deal because obviously people don't have a big expectation of me being a quarterback. So, you know, every time, hell, I might even celebrate every completion. Why not? You know, like it's an achievement at this level, you know, to come in with 2 months preparation. I mean, I've thrown the ball around a little bit, you know, in practice and all that sort of stuff, you know, ever since I started. And obviously the first time you have an American football, you throw it, you know, you don't do anything else with it. I've got a big background in cricket, which is a heavy, you know, throwing motion sort of sport. So I have some of the motor control that you need, but I worked out with Henry Van and then last week, and he showed me a lot of stuff, and he helped me out in a short amount of time. So I feel like I can do it. But yeah, there's definitely going to be many more celebrations this year because I mean, it's a new deal. We're all happy that we're playing football. You know, there's not many people who can say that this season. So I think we need to up it. You know, take it to the higher entertainment level.
That's awesome. I'm ready to see the celebrations, man.
There was a few.
The ones where the whole team is involved, I always enjoy those celebrations.
Yeah, we had a campfire. We had a bull in the ring, like with the Spanish bulls.
Yeah.
It was a load, man. There was a lot of them.
Yeah, I love all those celebrations. That's why I play Madden, for the team celebrations. Like, they're so funny. Q, did you have anything else for Spencer?
So it's safe to say the Bosch era is back on now. For everybody that didn't know, that didn't follow Finland football, but to go back to these celebrations, Pervis, I don't know if you remember, but in 2015, that was a celebration year for these guys, man. I mean, everybody was watching these guys, man. But I guess it's not so much as a question, but it's more as a statement. Like you said, you're going to play quarterback throughout the whole season, no matter what. So there's no possible change of you going to receive.
I mean, everyone has packages. Everyone has personnel. I mean, everyone has trick plays. So I can't put a finger on that statement, but I mean, you'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
Okay.
But I'm on the roster. On the roster, I am, yeah. But
okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can expect what you expect from a short season, and not, you know, we're not going to have enough time to scout people. We know that, and we need to take advantage of that. So it brings another strategic edge to it. I mean, obviously, I can play receiver. We've got Alex Germany coming in, who had some experience playing quarterback in Italy. You know, Christian Powell's been known to throw. Tim has played quarterback over in the UK and the university level. I mean, just by saying that, it could be anything. And I'm not saying that we will. I'm not saying that we won't. But we have to look at those things, because this year you need to exploit a lot of stuff, because defenses, I think, are going to be slightly more simple, but they'll be well drilled because they won't be doing any crazy stuff. Obviously, the Roosters have had this system for, I don't know, like 7 decades or whatever. But, like, you know, their stuff's going to be iron tight. It's going to be real tight. So you have to exploit that. And if we know what's coming, we can do that with all these packages. I mean, we can have Robitaille on the field with CP. We can have CP with Alex Germany. You know, we have a lot of flexibility. We've got an amazing athlete called Adrian Linda from France. He's going to be a great asset, both offense and defense. So we've got a lot of ways we can spread the ball and just get the ball into the people's hands that need it. You know, like I said, I'm never going to be wrong handing the ball off to CP. We've all seen what he can do at this level. But now that you have Tim, Robitaille, Hadrian, Alex Germany. There's
It's a lot.
there's so many things you can do.
I'm calling the play. Okay, everybody, get in your minds that you're watching the Seinäjoki Crocodiles. Spencer takes the snap. He hands it to CP. CP runs, tosses it to Timmy. I like to call him Timmy. He tosses it to Timmy. Timmy reverses the field, and Timmy throws a cross-field pass to Spencer, who's, running a little wheel route from the quarterback position anyways. Spencer catches the ball, runs across the field, and it looks like he's about to get tackled. But before he gets tackled, he tosses it back to Robitaille, who picks it up and finishes the score out, 70, 80-yard touchdown, and that's history. That's how it was written. That's how it went down. Like, I just saw it in my mind. So it happened.
We've got a toss, a lateral.
Well, the handoff, you got an original handoff and then a toss back, so you're still going backward. The forward pass is to you, but then it becomes like a hook and ladder type thing. Yeah, you're catching it and then going to toss it backwards, and then he's going to come around, and that's going to have misdirection, and then he's going to sprint the motherfucker for the rest of the yards, and that's it. That's 6. You heard it here first on AFF. That's all I'm saying, guys. You heard it here first.
You've been reading our playbook. Wait, who leaked our playbook? Who leaked?
I'm in it.
I want to know.
I'm in it. It leaked. It was WikiLeaks.
There's some insider information here. How much they paying you? I don't get it. That's not allowed, surely.
But Spencer, man, that's it for us. We always enjoy talking to you, man. We expect great things from you guys this season. We're obviously going to talk to you again later on, and take it easy, have a good weekend, and good luck to you and the Crocodiles this season.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. I think this season is going to be something different. Like I said, we're very privileged to be able to be playing football, first of all. So thanks to Finland maybe, but it's going to be a great one, and it's always a laugh to come and hang it up with you guys. So I'm more than happy to come back later on in the season when I've thrown 10 touchdowns in 2 games and for 1,000 yards.
Yes.
Okay.
That was our interview with Seinäjoki Crocodiles quarterback Spencer Cutlan. Let's talk about obstacles. What are some of the things standing in the way of the Seinäjoki Crocodiles making it to the Maple Bowl?
I think a major obstacle that could hinder Seinäjoki being as good as they could would be depth, injuries. If they can overcome having any major injuries to their playmakers, to certain, not even playmakers, just certain guys at certain positions. Because if you lose a center, you lose a tackle, that could be big for them because they just don't have that type of depth there, being way out there. So I think that's probably to me would be a major obstacle for them if they had some injuries or the depth that they need to last. Even though it's 5 games, you still don't want to lose anybody. And given their circumstance of being out there, they don't want to have to lose anybody. So I think a big obstacle would be just simply injuries.
Yeah, I actually agree with that 100%. That's what I would think as well, is for them, their injuries and depth. And you don't want to say injuries because you don't want to, wish that upon them. But the depth that they have behind their starters, if anything happens, even if it's not injuries, say someone gets sick the week of a game or something like that, let's cross our fingers and knock on wood about COVID situations, stuff like that. If anything like that happens that prevents them from putting their best players out at all times, it could be an issue, and it could be the difference between them, winning a game that they need or even winning a game in the playoffs if they make it that far. So for them, they definitely, their depth and, like you said as well, avoiding injuries is a major obstacle for them. It's something that they definitely got to hurdle over that. Next up, we're going to do an interview with Seinäjoki Crocodiles running back Christian Powell. Let's get into that right now. All right, so we're here with Seinäjoki Crocodiles running back Christian Powell. CP, welcome to the show, man.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, we actually were talking about this before we started recording, so we're going to talk about it again. We know it was tough you coming from the States to get to Finland with the COVID situation. Tell us a little bit about how, you guys made sure that you were able to do it safely.
Yeah, so it was just about really just talking with all the authorities, talking with the airlines, just talking with a lot of different people, trying to get permission. It wasn't simple at all. You know, how to go through a lot of different lines, was on hold for many hours for real, just trying to figure out what to do. But, we kind of ended up finding a way, finding a middle ground, and, just make sure we do it safely, make sure we do it correctly, following guidelines and everything. And like I said, I haven't been able to join it or anything like that. But, the biggest stepping point was just getting out here. So the self-quarantine and, not joining practice yet, that's the smallest problem now. So that's fine.
See, but you here. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
You're here now, guys.
Yeah.
Anybody that was expecting that they wasn't going to have to see him and have to deal with him,
He's there now.
Yeah, he's here now.
Yes,
he's here
sir,
now.
man.
You're going to have to see CP this year. You're going to have to see him, man. It's good to have you back out here. We're excited about having you. I mean, it's no secret you're one of our favorite players to watch. A true running back. Got the grace, the athleticism, a little bit of Walter Payton in him when it comes to the strength. I ain't gonna brag on you too much, man. This ain't what the show about.
No, that's love. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but we've had them conversations, and it is what it is. I'm gonna ask you the first question because this is something that's on my mind, but probably a lot of other people want to know too. Is this is gonna be your third year with the Crocodiles in the Maple League. Last 2 seasons, you've been consistent. Like, everyone knows what they're going to get from Christian Powell, and they know they're going to get a lot of it. And what I wanted to ask you about this season is, it's season 3. What are your expectations for this season? Like, what do you expect to get accomplished both individually and as a team?
Individually, like, I'm glad for the first 2 seasons, but personally, I'm just one who looks to continue growing and continue getting better. So, I just want to top what I did before, and that just goes all the way to the off season. So just training methods, training wise, everything of that nature is just about improvement and getting better at what I can bring to the team. And then, collectively, I like the group that we have, just seeing the players that we have, our new coach, the coaching staff that's coming back, just the organization as a whole. I feel like a lot of good things are coming from us. I feel like everybody's feeling confidence, and that's the first thing. Like, confidence from the locals, confidence from those guys, and it's a mutual feeling. They're glad to have me back. I'm glad to be back and join them, and we're all on the same boat, just looking to improve and get better. And within my first couple of years, it was good seeing that improvement from year 1 to year 2, and then just like I said at the beginning, just looking to see that year 2 to year 3, another jump.
Yeah, that's great, man. Q, what did you have for him?
Christian, besides having the most watched Coach Q's top 10 plays of the week, what's some of the things that you're looking forward to with this new coach, with the new players that you have coming in? On paper right now, we can easily say that you guys have one of the best imports groups that's going to be in Finland. What's the one thing that you feel like you have to do to make sure that the rest of the guys follow suit?
Just like on paper, that's one thing, but when we have to come together, we have to put that together. So that's what it is. It's just about intensity. It's about consistency, and just making sure we're all on the same goal. Because everything looks good on paper, but if we go on the field, we don't accomplish, we don't put anything together, that really doesn't mean anything. So just one thing I want to stress is every day we're going to come to work. We all came out here for a reason, and especially with everything that's going on this year, it has to be a big year. It's all around shortened season, just a lot of things to jump over, a lot of adversity to face, like just off the field, just everything that we're all facing. But coming together, we all have to be unified. We all have to click, and that's really what it's about. Clicking, unified, getting together, and it'll all just play itself out.
What else did you have for him, Q? I only had the one big question.
Oh, you got a big
that was all I had.
My second question to you would be, if you had one thing that to describe your type of play, like one word to describe you as a player, what would it be?
One thing, I would say it's my work ethic. I'm just one of those, like, I take pride in work ethic, because I feel like that's just one thing that I can control no matter what, whether it's raining, whether we're all playing good, whether I'm feeling good. Like, I can control, like, what type of effort I put in. So, and I really, really like to transfer that into my play. So that's one thing I like to say, like, you're not going to outwork me. That's I like to take pride in that.
That's hard to say. Like, I mean, if you can't outwork you, I mean, what they gonna do then?
Yeah, we seen him on his IG working out now, so we
yeah,
attest to it. He put in work now.
Ooh, what's the IG name? We're gonna throw it out here.
Bishop Piz.
Yeah, y'all look up Bishop Piz. I'm gonna put a little video and logo on here on the video, man. Y'all go.
He looked like a linebacker. He looked like a linebacker working out.
Hey, man, I could play linebacker. I had a little bit of defense back in the day. I could suit up real quick.
He played DB last season, matter of fact. So
did a little bit of that
safety, doing a little something.
Yeah, man.
Did you throw a touchdown pass too?
I did. I sure did.
Yeah. He's multifunctional. He got it all going. But Christian, man, it's good to have you on the podcast. We appreciate you talking to us, and good luck to you and the Crocodiles this season, man. We look forward to your year 3.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's love right there. I appreciate the respect y'all got from me. I appreciate the recognition and all that, and like I said, it's great to be back, man. I'm glad I'm on this side of the world and getting to play this third year, because for a moment, didn't even know if it was going to be possible. But, man, I'm just blessed and glad to be here.
That was our interview with Seinäjoki Crocodiles running back Christian Powell. This Crocodiles team is loaded. We know they have a lot of good players coming to play for them. Let's go with MVP candidates. Who do you think is someone who's going to stand out? And I'm pretty sure I already know what you're going to say, so go ahead and talk about them.
Christian Powell. I mean, it'll be disrespectful. I would be a hater if I didn't say his name. I would be literally a hater if I didn't say Christian Powell. I think everybody knows his ability, his effect that he can have on the game. And if anybody else has a chance at being the MVP again, I mean, I'm gonna say again, but to some people, if Miro didn't have the just crazy season he had, Christian Powell would have probably won that hands down.
But in our voting, I mean, I'm pretty sure we had Christian Powell, Miro, and Danny Wynn as our final 3.
Yeah.
So he was up there.
He was up there. Christian Powell, man, I can't even not say his name. And everybody knows why. I mean, his ability to catch the ball at the backfield, his ability to run the ball after contact. I mean, I can name a few things, but those two alone will hurt a team. So, Christian Powell, obviously MVP.
Yeah, that's easy. Don't forget, he can throw the ball. He threw a touchdown last year.
Throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep putting that out there. What CP does his thing. Obviously, I agree 100% with that. Him and Miro probably lead my board of MVP candidates this year. But just to go a little bit different for the Crocodiles, I'm gonna say Alex Germany. If they find a way to get him out here at the time of this recording, he's still not in Finland. But Alex Germany, again, he brings that Swiss Army knife aspect to the game. And I'm old school. That's kind of what I used to do when I played. Oh, Pervis talking about himself. I don't do that too often out here. But, yeah, he's a type of guy that he can play defensive back. He can play safety. He can play cornerback. He can play outside linebacker if you really need him to. And he can get after the ball. He's a good tackler. He can also cover, obviously. But the intangibles that he brings is he's a returner. He can play offense. He can run the ball. He can also play quarterback, we've been told. So with that being said, he's a guy that you can put him in situations. And I know this team is different. The coaching staff is different. But I want to say the feeling of Seinäjoki Crocodiles, I feel like the culture that they have, they're going to exploit matchups. They want to have fun. They want to put people in situations that people don't expect. They want to have fun with it, but also be effective. He's a guy that gives them that opportunity at almost every level and every portion of the game. Special teams, offense, defense. If you need one specific, situation or player, he's a guy that you can fit almost anywhere. So that makes him almost invaluable on this team, because if he comes in and does what we expect him to do, and he's proven himself internationally that he is a top level player, he's going to be able to make huge impacts. And I feel like when we're doing MVP candidates for this season, we really have to look at it more holistically than before. Stats aren't really going to mean as much. No one cares how many stats you have in the game if you didn't make the big play. And I think Alex Germany is going to be that guy, as well as Christian Powell, obviously. But I think Alex Germany is going to be that guy that his highlight reel is going to just be highlights. Like, none of those, oh, yeah, he tackled somebody. No, it's going to be he hit somebody and they fumbled and then he scooped it and scored. Like, it's a game changer. He's going to have that type of effect, and that's what makes him an MVP candidate right now. All right, that's it for American football in Finland. Hope it was worth the listen and the watch. Q, any last words before we get out of here, man?
No, just good luck to all the teams that we interviewed on this episode. A lot of these guys are excited. I'm excited to watch a lot of you play, and let's just give them a good show, and we'll try to do the same thing on our end.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say is, shout out to Rayer Athletics, doing big things with them going forward. Just had a Instagram contest and someone won a mouth guard from them. That's really cool. They're going to be doing more things like that with us in the podcast this year. So definitely, if you're on Instagram, go follow Rayer Athletics. Go to rayerathletics.com. Get on their emailing list. They have an emailing list out there, so you can find out when they get new products and stuff like that. Just really good to see companies supporting American football in Finland. Even companies that are foreign companies, they're investing in this country, and they believe in what this football league and this football culture here is doing. So we just want to, continue to support that. I know it's a little bit like an ad, but it's how I really feel, people. That's it for us today. So if you enjoyed the show, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to rate us 5 stars as well. Anything less will tell us that you are a hater. You can follow us on the gram and Facebook at American Football in Finland. And we appreciate all that love. So until next time, never forget
TIF.
And we out of y'all.
Out of here.
American football in Finland.